so welcome you to my Unity game. It's called Rationalize. The whole purpose of this game is it's kind of, well, it's a zombie apocalypse, you might as well say. And fortunately, a food virus has spread around and infected the people and caused them to turn into zombies. And you're basically this military commander, and you got to figure out what's going on by working directly with scientists, stuff like that. Yep, it's been redone, but there's some different plot holes into it. So anyways, let me kind of show you what's going on here. So this is the map I've worked on. So it's got a terrain map on here, and we've already got some objects added in. A lot of this was built directly into Unity, so this wasn't like I had to really go out and find my own stuff or go through the asset store, which you can get here by clicking this button up here. I'll do that for a second. For those who don't know, kind of a mini tutorial, and you can go up here and you can just type in whatever you want, and the assets will pop up down here. Which right now this thing is running pretty slow, but there's some. You want to see the free ones, you just go in here and I just type in price. That'll bring it right up there, and then that will show the free ones there. So kind of some things, and then you'll see it right there, free only. And I'll show you the free assets. Okay, so anyways, like I said, I didn't really get into a lot of assets there, but I did want to show you this. You see this building in the background here, this city? This was actually an asset I found directly online. A guy had built a city, and he said you could share it, so I figured I'd kind of plop it in the game. What's really cool about these is these are individual models, and let me just click on the hierarchy here. This hierarchy, by the way, allows you to navigate all the objects that you've added to your game, like trees, you know, buildings, people, or whatever you put into the actual game there. Mine needs some organization here, but I just wanted to go to the buildings here. I think it's right here. I'm trying to click on them. Now, Unity's behaving a little funny today. Clicking right on them. Okay. There's all the buildings right there. So now I figure out, okay, they're under city right here. And if I just go through here and scroll through here, I can find the buildings I'm looking for. There's one right there. So if I hit this, I can individually control each of these game objects, which I think is pretty cool. So if I wanted to resize them or whatever, or move them around, I could do that. I don't have to leave them all in one place. But the model itself puts them all in one place. Now, these two in the front here, these are ones that I actually created. This one and this one. And I created this one in Blender, so I'll pull over my Blender screen here. Still working on some of the UV mapping, but this is one of the high rises I've created. Let me just go down here and switch this to object mode. Show one in solid, so I can show it to you. So I got the colors on this one, but you can see that that's the actual the object that I was working on there. And I'll turn off this purple, make it like a green or something. So essentially that's just kind of where I started at. Now with Blender, you have to go in and you have to recalculate these to get them to work correctly in the game, otherwise they won't appear properly. And then you have to set mesh colliders, which I have here, I think on this one, for the Unity to recognize them. I still don't know why it's not letting me click on these. It should be letting me click right on this one, but it's not. There it goes. It's just a little tad slow or something. Anyways, it's like I click and I wait and then it shows up. I don't know if you guys ever used Unity and had issues with that, but there it goes. And then I can kind of move it there, you know, do whatever I want with it. If I want to rotate it, I could go up here and just rotate it. And do whatever I want with it. So anyways, those are the buildings. I'm just going to go ahead and run the game, and we'll come right back to this. You just go up here to the game and you maximize it. I have my screen set up differently here, and I turned off the audio sound because last time I got a copyright on it. So you're just going to hear the sound, which I don't think you can get copyrights on. And to kind of show you this, you see this person moving right here? This is what's called a waypoint in these areas right there, path object. That's where he starts, and he follows all these green dots here in a complete circle, or wherever you put these dots is exactly where that person's going to be moving to. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing here you'll notice is if I walk up to this box right there, I have basically alert messages that pop up here that you can kind of see, and it'll fade out here in just a minute. And then these are also text boxes. These are known as user interfaces, and allows you to drop these on to your game so that you can use them. And of course I update score, so if I go over here and I pick up the bullets here, you'll see that change to 10, change to 20 there. Actually I went through 2 of them, and now I can shoot, but I don't have any objects set up. And you'll see this animation of this guy moving. The only thing I have tested to shoot right now is these boxes, because I haven't got the animations for the dead characters yet. Now these also are make human characters. I know they're kind of backward, but this one kind of they get stuck in this animation and they just kind of stay there. So anyways, you see this guy turn around right now, and this guy, he's an idle. So these are just direct animations, and the animations are controlled by what's called mocap raw data, which you can download from the asset store. Maybe I'll go into more examples on that later. The zombie's walking in the air here because I don't have his collision set up correctly. For some reason, the collisions, when the animations are not running by a script, they seem to go right through the walls. I don't know if anybody's figured that out yet, but if you put them in the scripts, I don't think they walk through the walls. But anyways, that's the first part. Here's some more make humans. Here's a woman standing there. These are just not doing anything really. They're just sitting there. This is some female sitting down there. And these are the, you can notice the animations of the trees there blowing in the wind. You can see the shadows on the ground there. Those are all built directly into Unity, so you can easily create your own instant animations, which I think is pretty cool. And you can't walk through the walls here. It's got collision detection, which is basically box colliders that are set up directly inside the game. I'm just going to go over here to the city, where we talked about earlier. There's a little lake there, and like a GTA style, Grand Theft Auto style. It doesn't really have any direct graphics to it yet because I haven't added them directly inside of Blender yet. I need to go ahead and get those updated, but I'm still learning UV mapping right now. So for now, I've only kind of just colorized them a little bit. These cars are a little bit small. I could probably make them larger, but like I said, it was a Blender model I found online, which I think works pretty good in Unity. I don't know I've never seen anybody use it yet, so I thought I would be maybe the first one to show you. Here's one of those buildings I built right there, of course. It's a pretty vast parking lot. It's got the little street lights and everything here. And over here in the background, you'll see I have a factory. That's actually what's known as particle animation. You can set those directly up inside of Unity there. There's another one of my objects. This one does have some mapping on it. The mapping is basically the texturing, the graphics in that, but I haven't really worked on it. I'll be teaching myself more of that today. I've been kind of studying some of the UV mapping, but UV mapping is a pretty advanced concept for Blender. I think it looks good overall, at least. The FPS is working much better on this one. The last video was really bad. So here's my little factory. You see, you just position the particle effects like right where you want them to be at. And that's basically, I just position them right on top of the smokestacks there. Shortcut through here a little bit. I was thinking about maybe later, I didn't mention this in this, I mentioned the last one, but in this one, and maybe adding people here, maybe a park setting here like benches. I've got some of those assets on the asset store to kind of bring some of the animations to life and bring the game to life more. Of course, we'll remove some of this grass sitting directly by the city buildings and just add some more regular sidewalks. Now these don't have any colliders on them, so you can walk right through these for now. But my object over here This is one of my buildings. I made both these, this circled one and the one behind it. This one in the background has the collision. I think this one doesn't here. Let me see. Yeah, this one doesn't, but this one does. So it should let me go through it. Actually, it does. I think I replaced the object. Maybe it was this one behind it. That's right, there's two of them, I forgot. So this one probably has the collider on it. This is where we were earlier. It should stop me. There it goes. See, I can't go through the walls here. I'm forced to go outward. And this is just kind of some of the scene of the actual game. We'll stroll through the woods here. It's got music effects in the background. Not music, I'm sorry, sound. And if you can hear that, it's kind of like... Oh, actually, I think I turned off the sound effect. So, to basically move around, like I said, you just use the mouse and you can use the arrow keys. So we'll start here since this is where we started. I'm going to move in with the mouse, middle mouse button there. Whoops. Oh, and I think I'm going to reposition that lake first. This was floating out the ground earlier, so if I can get this thing to click. It may or may not work, I don't know. This FPS is behaving very badly here. There it goes. So you see these arrows? These up here correspond to your X, Y, and Z locations, your coordinates here. And the colors obviously indicate which is which. Green is Y, red is X, and blue is Z. And you just use these little arrows here, and I can kind of drive it into the ground a little bit more there so it looks better when we're walking around next time. You go inside of here, and I'll show you some of the animations. Maybe we'll just set up an animation or something here. We need to probably fix some of these too. Here's another woman I have, but she walks right through the wall. And we'll move this person out a little bit more. Supposed to be like a teenager or something. And this is the guy moving on the waypoint. So these are the waypoints right here. I don't want to probably go into a whole lot of explanation because the waypoints could be pretty involved, but for now, I'm at least going to get a script open here and kind of start running this. I have my script set up in a direct folder just called scripts. And trying to see which one to start with here. I'm just going to start with the quest script, I guess. Now I'm using Visual Studio, but you can use one called Mono Develop. It's built directly into Unity. And to switch those out, you just go up here, which I won't be able to do this while this is loading. Or maybe while I'm waiting for this to load, I'll switch over to Blender for a minute or something. So when you have an object you want to save, first of all, I'm just going to save this as a separate, like a test object, so I don't erase any of my previous work. You just go here to save. You basically just select the object by hitting the A key, and it turns it on and off. Your tab key puts you in from object, you'll see down here, object to edit mode. As you hit the object and you hit edit, it'll switch back and forth to alternate. Edit is where you go in and actually make the changes to the object. But of course, we just wanted to, why is this thing not loading here? I didn't want to go into like a whole tutorial because this is not a Blender tutorial, but I'll probably make some Blender tutorials later. I'm just waiting for that Visual Studio to load here. But you can do some pretty cool stuff here. This is say if I wanted to restart, you just go up here, load factory settings, hit this button, get this thing to work. Yeah, Blender's gonna crash on me. You just hit X on your keyboard, and you can delete a cube like that. And Visual Studio open yet? Let me see. Yeah, Unity is still waiting to load there. Kind of running like half its speed today. I have to do a virus check or something. But anyways, you want to add an object, you hit Shift A on your keyboard. It'll pop open this menu, and you want to go to Mesh. And in this example, we'll just put a plane to kind of show you how to start off building a simple building. Okay, I'm back. And then what you want to do next is you want to add additional places here where you can move this building up. Because if I hit the E key right now, well, first we're going to hit Shift Z. That's Shift Z to lock. And then you just hit it again to come back. That way it locks it in the center position. And if you hit E, click this thing. E, come on. Oh, I got to put it in edit mode, my bad. So E, extrude. And that's just like if you wanted to make a building. But that's kind of, boring. So what you'll do is you want to subdivide. You're going to hit the W key. And you'll see subdivide here. You'll click on subdivide. Now what it's going to allow you to do inside of this so that you can kind of basically spread out where you're going to extrude it from. So I like to do stuff like this, kind of how I did mine. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to select these individual squares. Oh, didn't mean to do that. And to do that, you're going to do something called selecting the face. You're going to hold Control Tab, hit face, and you can hold your Shift key down and you can select individual ones here. Now if we go back and hit E this time, I don't freeze again. And E, watch, this time it'll go right toward the center. And we could maybe do this over here again. Actually, I probably should have extruded the bottom part, but now you've got kind of like the core of a building going on here. So see, you can kind of easily, look how quickly I build a building there. And you could subdivide these again. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So we'll go back to Unity. I didn't want to make this a Blender tutorial, but I was waiting for that thing to load, which I think it's loaded here. But yep, wanted to show you that. So what I wanted to do inside of Unity is show you some of the scripts I've created. You saw earlier when that guy walked over and you saw the message. Right here is where that message happened. So what this is doing is it's activating a script directly inside of the game engine. So right here, if you go to FPS Controller, this is where I have that script added to. And you'll see it has a quest script here. So basically, you just, once you write these scripts over here, and like in this section, you just drag them in over here. And not to try to confuse you, but these right here next to, these are objects. This was the music, and this is actually the sound. And this is the text box, because this is corresponding directly to the if statements you have, or I'm sorry, not to the say text box message on check. It's responding directly to here where it says text box on check. So it's looking at the bulls. Whenever you see these check marks, like right underneath here under the script part, these are the bulls. Bulls are true and false, so you can set values to be true and false to do different things. This is the user interface, the message box here. So if you go here and click on canvas, this is where I created the actual canvas. Now this is not a tutorial to show you how all this works. I just wanted to show you what you can really do inside of Unity and kind of how I was manipulating it here. So if I hit up here 2D, it'll come directly at it. I'm a 2D angle, and then you can actually go directly inside of here and you can edit this stuff. If I click on this now, you'll see stuff highlighted over here. So basically it's looking directly at these objects in the game itself. These are the text boxes. And then here's one for the message, like the main message there. And you'll see when I'm clicking on them, it's also switching over here in the hierarchy view. So not going to show you how to do that yet, because like I said, I don't want to throw in a lot of stuff in one tutorial, throw people off, but just showing you some of the things that can be done here. So let me switch out of this, just hit this 2D button again, you'll go back to 3D mode there, and let's see here, go back to the 2D, oh I was just there, a 2D game there. So this is our actual game engine again. You can double click on these to instantly get to different places inside of the actual game or the objects there. This is the building mesh earlier. Just gotta click this down, go right into where the man is there. So I instantly moved into where the animation of the man was. Now going back to the script here though, just had to show you that to kind of explain that other part there. So that's what the text boxes are, and you're basically, once you add them to the to the hierarchy here, you can just drag them over, just like you saw me. I don't know if you saw me earlier, but you can just drag things directly in these text boxes that correspond to it. Now, if you try to drag something that doesn't go there, like for example, I'll try to drag something like this. Actually, do this again. Drag something that doesn't go in that box again. So FPS Controller. Maybe let's just try dragging one of these objects. You try to drag it here, you're going to get like a little, I guess like a stop sign, or what do you want to call that? Like a no, can't do this. It won't let you drag the wrong objects in there. I think Unity is pretty smart for that. So, but of course, if you're dragging the right ones, it'll change to show you what you're dragging and will allow you to do it. Oh, I'm in the audio source. I didn't need to be there. I'm just going to minimize this. Okay, so here we are, quest script. So going back to the canvas here, if we try to go and grab like this text box, now you see it changed. It shows like a flashing plus sign. That means I could now replace this with whatever just dragged here. I'm not going to do it because I don't need that box, but that's basically how you do it. And then down here, you see this distance to care and this interact layer global script. If we go back to the code, you'll see it's corresponding to what's called game objects directly. Now these game objects communicate directly with the environment. So if you're pulling in like a message box, you're going to be able to utilize it down here and display it. This is what I'm doing down here in the set active and all this. And this just checks that you have the text box being clicked on. Or being found. This is a little bit more complicated, but this is a Raycast. It basically defines a ray from your point of first-person character view. If I clicked on first-person character, you'll see them highlighted there a little bit. And it's basically, let me get it over here maybe. Where am I? Right there. It's basically looking at these center points inside of here, and it's shooting out this ray here. So if I click on this here, and if I zoom in on like a person, right there it is. You see that little thing going up there? That's the ray pointing in. Right here is a good example right here. It's actually looking directly when it starts. It looks directly at this wall here, so it's able to see what's in the path. Whenever's in that path is what you can define directly inside of your interact layer, which is a little bit more complicated. But layers are basically ways of the game seeing what's in that path or that direction here. You can just go up here and you can actually go here and you can just add layer, and you'll see mine here. These are the ones interactable. This is one of the ones that I think it's interactable is the one it's using. Go back to the actual game object there. So it's using interactable. Yeah, and you just change these down here to whichever layer you want. And this one here, interact distance, this is just a regular integer variable. So distance to character shows you how far away you are from that character. And that's what this one does right here. If I hold over here, and actually, I wanted to show this to people before. If you go up here, this thing is running really slow. Go up here, and you click on Object Browser. might take a second right there. You can see all the objects directly linked into the actual game. This is defined by these namespaces up here. Don't want to make this an entire C# tutorial, but if you look for the one that says Unity Engine here and kind of, you know, look inside of it here, and we're next going to look at the next thing that it's looking at. Look at, like, the next one would be physics. So Unity Engine. Yeah, it's hard to do a tutorial when your computer's running so slow. Okay, so Unity Engine right here, and then you're going to look up physics. Where's that? I just saw it. Physics right there. You click on these, it'll show you a little bit more information, so you know how to initialize this method, what is found in this method. It's the same thing you get when you highlight over. These are all the different method overloaded methods that you can add and utilize to your advantage. And right here is more of the, these are the types set for the individual method. So yeah, that's just kind of a C# example there for you. So we'll just close that, or just minimize that for now. And going down through here, once you've had the Raycast, you can throw out what are called log messages. Log messages are basically ways of allowing you to see that this this action you took is working. I use these a lot to test, because especially with the Raycast, sometimes it just doesn't want to work right. And if you don't have it positioned correctly, trust me, it's a nightmare trying to get it to work. So be very careful when you're positioning and moving the character around, because you could throw off the Raycast very quickly. So anyways, you saw earlier when those text messages popped up, it was just basically occupying this text message inside of this message box. And if you go up here, you'll see this message box is directly linked to a game object. And as I showed you earlier over here, I think it was, right here, message box, you're just dragging in this message box 2. If I go over here and I look for the message box 2, which is right here, and click on it, you'll see, I get it to open here, that this is directly linked to that box. Now I don't have anything in here. I normally had a default message right here, but it would print whatever you type in here directly to that screen. So if I type in something here and I override it, it'll show up in that screen. So anyways, I wanted to show you how those were linked, at least. This start coroutine, this allows you to, this is where you saw the message show up and it said, hello Commander Fulton, please report to binary security meeting, blah blah, whatever you put in this section. It's basically a delay here, so it's delaying by 8.5 floating point seconds, or whatever you would call that, and going down here to the my message and allowing the message to delay. So this line right here, yield return, wait for seconds, and it shows delay in the side the parentheses there. That's setting the delay, and it won't do anything until it completes the 8.5 seconds. Then what it does here is sets your message box, remember that's just what's displaying inside of here, to false. That makes it disappear when you saw it disappeared earlier. So just to run that real quick to show you again, just to make sure that I'm not losing people on that. So the box is right here. We walk right up to it. You'll see the message. Oh, actually, there it is. It's a little bit slow there, but it's because of my computer. You'll see the message pop up. Now that start coroutine is going to kick in after 8.5 seconds, and there it goes. It goes away. So that's how the start coroutine works. So I don't really have a whole lot of time to go through every single script, but I wanted to at least show you some of the basics. And also, these audio source, these are the, when you see, like, you didn't hear it, but I'll show you the birds playing. I'll turn it on this time. You could also set background music, but I had to turn mine off because it got copyrighted. So you just go over here and you click on your first-person controller character. Now, if you haven't done it already, you'll need to add an audio source here. I've already got one, but you can go down here to add component, and you just type in audio, and you'll see audio source there. If I do it here, it'll add a second one, but I don't need this one, so I'm just going to remove it. But I just wanted to show you that's how you add them. You just remove it. And then once you have your audio clip here, it's going to allow you to initialize the sounds directly inside. I guess I do have the forest on here. I didn't realize I had that. Okay. You can barely hear it moving, but now if you also click these play on awake, this is going to allow it to start playing the audio right away, and this loop will allow it to repeat after it's done, like you can loop music or sounds or whatever. Okay, now I got probably a little carried away. I was going to show you the animations part. So these are the animated characters. Now I already have an animator directly linked to them, so I'm going to look up the characters first of all and show you. Right here it says male human bodybuilder. And this also has directly messages talking directly to him, but I don't have those initialized in code yet, but I have a script here that'll work later when I'm ready to use it. And then here you see where it says animator strongman. If I double click on this, it's an animator controller, you'll see it pop open here. You may have seen this in other Unity tutorials. This is the animator component. This is where you can create the actual animations. Now I'm just going to show you this as kind of on the surface before I really want to get into serious videos here. But if I click on idle here and I click on this little arrow here, it should pop up in a box there. There he is. So there's that guy that we just saw earlier. And then if I click on this one, these are the ones that go backward and forward, allow the animation to communicate. So if I go down here at the bottom here, or actually at the top here, if I click this little button here, you'll see his animation. All his animation does is move back and forward. I was just trying to find an auto animation. Now if you wanted to change it, you could go in here and you could swap in any one of these. These are some of the other, these are all the animations I already have in here. But remember what I said earlier about that mocap data? I think I mentioned in this one. Mocap data, you can get it directly at the asset store here. It's called raw mocap data. So if you just type in mocap, M-O-C-A-P, that'll do it. And they're right here. As I can get my mouse to move again. Mocap, I think that'll get it. There it is. It's this one right here on the list, the first one. You click on this one. Now I don't need to download mine, but I just want to show you. If you click on it here, these are all the animations you can get. These are just some of the smaller ones, but you can get some of the bigger ones here. Well, I'm not going to be able to click on it because it's going to go too slow if I click on it again. But anyways, I wanted to show that to you. So why was I showing you that? Because that's going to allow you to create the different animations that you want in your actual game. So I have one here called Huge Mocap Library. I'll just click on this one to show you some of the simple animations. Now, I don't know what some of these are going to do. If you click on them here, though, you can test them. Just double click them. Have to rerun this again. Okay, right there. So you click on that, it'll show you the different animation. There's a zombie one. Yeah, I was looking for that one earlier. 10507. So if we take this and drag it over here like this, now we can work directly with this animation. You see how idle is currently linked to my idle to idols? That's what that one animation you saw earlier for that guy just walking around and kind of moving backward and forward. We can swap that one out, but what we have to do is we have to go in here, we have to delete these other ones. So I just hit the delete key. I just go like this. Delete. It'll erase that idle to idols, and I'll have to put it back in again. Sorry, I already got it saved. I can do it here anyway. So it basically isolates it there, so you can go over here now to the new animation. You can also rename these by clicking on them up here in the corner. Once you click on it up here to highlight it, and just rename zombie walk or whatever you want to call it. And let's see here. And then what you do here is you make the transition. So you saw those arrows earlier. It allows you to move it backward and connect the animations. Make transition, make sure it comes back to the actual. So it's going backward and forward from the idle to the regular animation. Now what you want to do is you want to set your idle in here. We already got our idle to idols here, but we're going to drag in that zombie, if I can remember where it went to. I think it was this one. Yeah, it's that one. And you just go over here and you click on it, and then sorry, you got to click on this and you got to drag this. So I got to go here, Click on this. Well, let's test it to make sure. I think it's easier to just go over here sometimes, because instead of dragging, you don't have to kind of look them up all the time. So it was 105.07. And this is just looking at all the ones I downloaded. 105.07 right there. And you just double click it, and now it's going to have that for idle to idles, and then this one, now it should let me see that animation. There he is. So if we added that into the game now, if we go to run the game, that guy's going to turn into a zombie. I know I didn't really show you how to create this whole animator. If you wanted to create the animator, you actually have to add it directly to your objects here. So let me just kind of switch up back to the scene view here. Click on this guy, and you'll see Animator Strongman. That's where we're going to basically initialize the new one here. But you just go down here at the bottom and you add component, and you type in animator, and you want to use animator. I'm not going to do it here because, I mean, we could do it here, but it won't let you do it because there's already one existing anyway, so never tried to do that before. But anyways, we don't really have to drag anything, but if you wanted to, I could drag any one of these other ones in here. But anyways, let's go ahead and run this and see if our man turns into a zombie here. I'm going to save this as a different object to be safe. Always save before running. I highly caution that. Call this DA, I guess. Saving your scene is very highly recommended. It's too easy to lose your work you've already done. So anyways, I'm just going to click on off the screen here for a second and run this. There he is. See, he's walking around like a zombie now. He walked right through the wall. We can go chase him. So whatever animation you want for him, you just go back in and you just add that in, and you can always check them here like that, and you'll see this is the row mocap example. This guy's just kind of walking around. Whatever's hidden inside of these is what you can come up with. Now I had to go through and look up a lot of these because there's a lot of different animations. There's a running animation. There's actually a sports one here too at the very beginning. Let's try that one. There's a basketball. We'll turn him into a basketball player for a second. That's 102.04 before I forget. And remember, you just go back to your animator. You drag that on the screen. Remove your previous transitions. Hit delete. Delete. And we just connect our new one. Make transition. Drag it up. Make transition. Drag it up. Oh, nope. I meant to do it this way. Yeah, you got to click on this one to drag it back down for the make your transition, just in case I didn't show you that. So they're communicated now. If we go back and click on this little arrow again, you can test it over in the window. And there he is, playing basketball. He's also got the zombie because we have the idle set for the zombie here. So we just have to switch out this 102.04, otherwise it's going to move backward and forward between the different animation states. Let's do that real quick here. 102.04. Right there. So we'll just rerun it again. I'll probably run through the wall again, but I want to at least show it to you. There he is. He's playing basketball. That's how easily you can add the animations in. And instantly, the Unity figures it out, what you're doing, and attaches it to that object. Now, I didn't explain this, but these characters right here, I'll open this. Hopefully it doesn't crash on me. I have what's called Make Human. You can build your own models, and you can instantly import them or export them into Unity. And, excuse me, import them. You would actually import them, not export them. And then you can add them to your game. This is kind of an everything tutorial, I guess. But I'll try to make some better ones going forward. So it just starts with a genderless character here. And to keep it family safe here, I'm just going to switch it over and put some clothes on him real quick here. And just go down here to male and just select a set of clothes. Gonna use that one. That's the regular standard for Make Human. Yeah, it's just running a little slow there. I'm trying to move them. So you can move in a character there. You can rotate them. And then once you have the character you need, you just go here in the game and you add them directly inside the environment. I'll show you the ones I already have here. So these are just folders I created to store my game objects and my assets. The assets are like the individual objects. And I have one here under Objects, Make Human. And these are the different ones I've created already. So if I click on these here, I think you can see them if I click on them there. There's that one. You can see these are the ones I worked on. And this guy I was going to add like as a big boss. So if you want to you just go back to the environment here. Now that we have a Make Human character, and you can drag him directly on the screen here. I'm going to drag this right here, and there he is. You just have, in this case I'd have to resize him. You can go up here. I like to click on this little box here and it allows you to resize the entire coordinates of all the character so that everything sizes correctly or scales correctly. And then you can rotate them here. You can go up here in this box here and you can just, these are the coordinates that control the character's position. So 270 will get him facing toward us. Now if you run the game, he's only going to leave his arms up there. This is a T-pose because you haven't added any animation to him. I'll run it and show it to you. So see, he'll be stuck in T-pose until you do something with him like that. So hopefully that makes sense. That's the animator part. I don't want to make the video too long, but I thought I would at least show you the animator part. I didn't see a lot of people really explaining how to transition from Make Human to Unity. I really wish I could get my game character working here, but I can't get anything loading properly here. It's supposed to load them in instantly here, but I think somehow it's interfering. You can just go in here, you can create whatever you want for your character, you know, and change his age, put hair on him and stuff like that. Let me see, where's his hair at? I think it's under geometries. Hair, there we go. Give him some hair. There, now he has some hair. And make sure this one's going to be a guy, so we're just going to switch him over to a guy here. So go to modeling, main, and just move this all the way over. Now he's a man there, and it shows down here his age is 60. Let's see if I don't want one that. So 33, his age is 33, and it just shows you the different properties of the character. And over here you can change different positions. You saw that person sitting and stuff like that. These are the pose positions right here. Whatever you click on here is going to allow you to change that position. And then over here, expressions, you could change what they're looking like on their face. Just changes, you know, what they're doing. Determination. Okay, in the skeleton, this defines what are called bones. What I use to do this successfully for Unity is go to mocap, and then you click this box over here, rig presets. These bones are going to allow your animations to work accurately. This is why I wanted to show this to you. If you don't put bones in your character, Unity will not work correctly on your models, and it won't know, because it needs to know how to bend them and where to, you know, control the animation from. But once you're done here, you can go ahead and you can save your character. I'm just doing this very quickly here. You just export, you select FBX, and you just name your character, whatever you want to call it, and you just save it. You can go here and select the folder. I could port this guy in here. I just go in here and just create like a new folder. Just gotta call this Standing Man or something. And didn't initialize. Say man standing. Create a folder. And just double click on it. And we'll just call him test man. And now that we've got him over here, you'll see it. You go back to Unity, it'll initialize what you just did. To add the make human character in. And there you see a strong man, or no, man standing right above him there. And we click on this, you'll see him, there he is. The one we just created. And of course we can go back to the scene and we could drag this in here, and there's our new make human. We'll get rid of this one. Resize him. You move him over. Maybe make him communicate with these other people here. Rotate him on the y-axis, and then now he's facing us. Remember, he has no animation, but easily you could also go ahead, I didn't show you this, but you can, when you create a new character like this, you can go and you can add the animation here. You see how it shows controller? It's already built into the make human objects here. I can go down here or up here to my animations. These are my controllers already, and I could put in any one of these, and instantly, if I wanted to do him like zombie or whatever, I could turn him into a zombie really quickly. Waiting for it to initialize there. Well, actually, I didn't turn on his animation, did I? Yeah, I did something wrong. Let's see what I have here. Test animation zombie. I should have went over here and I should have tested it. You just double click on this here. Oh, that's right. I forgot to set up. This is what I forgot to mention. Whenever you do add a new make human character, you actually have to go and you have to initialize this character. Otherwise, make human will never see it. So we'll go back and put him back on. Make human, I mean Unity will never see it. So click on him here, and you just go here. I go to select, and we're going to have to save this, so we're going to lose our changes. And you just go here to rig. And rig means those animation bones that you created earlier. You change this to humanoid. And then what you have to do is click apply. Now if everything's correctly, if I configure here, it should have, actually if you see the check mark here, that's right, when they say you see the check mark, it should be working. Let me try running it again. There he is. He's walking around like a zombie. He went through the walls, so we can probably go chase him, but he's over here somewhere. Where'd he go? There he is in the background there. So he's just kind of still walking through the walls, but you can see him walking around like an ape or something. I don't know, maybe he's not a zombie, but he's walking around looking like he's looking around. But that's how instantly you can add the new animations in once you have created those animation controllers and initialized your characters. So hopefully that was pretty helpful. I'm going to go ahead and pan out here and stop this for now. I think that's probably enough. We covered a little bit of animation tactics and stuff. It wasn't a tutorial like in its completion or even in stages. I'm going to try to get them in stages. I just wanted to at least show you some of the things I haven't seen online that people haven't really explained very well, which I thought would be hopefully helpful here. So hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'll try to get some more out, and please like and subscribe this channel. And yeah, Unity is underway here, guys. Have a great night.